Welcome to the What One Thing podcast, where we ask successful people what made a difference in their lives and careers. We have a really special program for you today. We're going to talk all things IMEX America. First, with Carina Bauer, the president and CEO of IMEX, and then the fabulous Tahira Endean, who is head of program there and a Smart Women in Meetings award winner, as is Carina's Hall of Fame. And we are so excited because this is going to be your guide to making the most of your time in Las Vegas. Let's hear from them. Welcome, Carina.
Thank you very much. Good to be here with you.
I look forward to catching up every year. So we often say that IMEX is the Super Bowl of the meetings industry. Each year, you build on the momentum and themes from the previous year and learnings from your European show. What did you learn this year from Frankfurt that might inform what we see in Las Vegas in October?
We learned a few things, really. Certainly from a theming perspective of what people were interested in. No surprises to learn that the most attended sessions were all about AI and event design. Those sessions, will have a lot of those types of sessions in the America program as well, and building on those. And also no surprises to learn that the sessions around budgeting and doing more with less, a permanent theme for our industry. And so they were hot topics in Frankfurt. We expect hot topics at IMEX America as well. We also saw, we were very pleased, we put a lot of emphasis at both the shows around event design and also continually improving the tech and the platform that our exhibitors and our buyers use to schedule their meetings and really make the most of the show. So we were really pleased to see that yet again our NPS scores and overall satisfaction scores for exhibitors and visitors increased in Frankfurt. And so, of course, those kind of event design enhancements, which is a sort of bit of a catch-all for a lot of different things that we do, we will be building on those as well. And that's very important because we look at everything from how to help buyers find exhibitors more easily within the platform through to small moments of fun and serendipity when they're actually, when people are actually on site, and then even the branding and design of different areas of the show. So it's quite all-encompassing theme, but it's very important, I think, from how people experience IMEX from before the show starts to actually when they're on site. So we try very hard and do our best to think about all of those moments in time that will be important to that experience.
And yeah, one of the things that seems to improve every year is that the event tech and the calendaring. We are both an exhibitor and I'm moderating a panel there. And I've noticed that there are a lot of ways to kind of go in and interact with the platform. Do you want to talk about what might be different this year on that side?
Yes, exactly. So we are constantly iterating and working with a tech provider to make that easier, because we know that is challenging, of course, when there are thousands and thousands of buyers and attendees in the system and thousands of exhibitors. How do you find the right one? One of the things we've done over the past year is enhance the recommendations engine, which means that it's working a little bit more like you would expect from, say, a shopping site, where they'll say, okay, if you've made an appointment with this exhibitor, you might want to consider these similar exhibitors, and the same for attendees. You might want to consider meeting with these other attendees. So that recommendations engine, it still has loads of things that we can do to improve it still further. But that's one of the areas of focus for us. And also the exhibitor search functionality, again, helping the buyers to really drill down and find the exhibitors that are going to best match their needs. We've seen with those improvements as well, just the way the meeting scheduling, just the UX of that is better than it was. And there are more places in the system where buyers can just click and say, meet with this person now. And it takes them through to their scheduling system. So just adding all of those areas, what we aim to do is make that process as easy and efficient and effective as possible for the buyer. And then obviously that gives the exhibitor a better experience as well, because they have hopefully more meetings with the right people. So that's an area that we've focused on a lot in the past year, and indeed will continue to focus on. And it tends to be that the feedback that we're given at each show really informs the development that we do for the following year.
And is that recommend engine, is that AI powered? Is that an algorithm?
It's a little bit of both at the moment. So it started off obviously a few years ago as mainly algorithm and tag matching. Now the team are building AI into it. As I say, there's much more to do, and we're all learning with that. But yeah, the aim is to build more and more useful AI into that system so that it can also learn from the behaviors, like who are the buyers clicking on in the search functionality? Who are they making meetings with? What kind of sessions are they attending? So learning over time to really understand how to give the right recommendations that are more personalized to you through your behavior and not just what you've ticked on a form. Because as we know, what we tick on a form and what we actually do, sometimes very different.
Very true. Very true. So one of the developing themes each year is sustainability. And I love that you report the results each year. So you're very transparent about the journey. What did you learn last year and what can we expect this year?
As you say, we like to report the results because we like to be transparent, but also share with the industry what we're doing, because we're very happy if people copy us. Sometimes people just need to know what to focus on. One of the things that we have focused on for many years is waste management. You know, if you're looking at your carbon output, the amount of waste you generate and then what you do with that waste is very important. And one of the things that we did last year was actually put more funding into the labour that helps waste diversion back of house. And that allowed us to get a 93% waste diversion rate. So that means 93% of the waste coming out of the show is diverted away from landfill. So that helps us to be classified as a zero waste event. So that really works. So that's something that we'll be continuing for this year. Something that we did last year that didn't work so well was we introduced some carbon offsetting, where attendees and exhibitors could choose to pay to carbon offset their travel to the show. I think that has potential, but it wasn't a massive uptake. So we're rethinking that because we think that's obviously a very important part of the process. And we want to be transparent again of what went well and also what we can do better. And then as usual, we'll be focusing very hard on things like water usage, because that's obviously very important in Las Vegas. One of the things that we do with that is work very closely with the chefs on designing the menu. So you'll see on our menus, there are specific products that are lower water usage product. And again, as I say, very important when we're in the middle of the desert. So people should look out for that. And if they can choose those menu items, you're really helping to lower the water usage. And then, so as usual, we'll be doing that. We're also always working with the venue on things like renewable energy, and where we use about 30% renewable energy to power the show, and then the rest we offset. So again, that's something we've been doing for a couple of years that we will also be continuing.
And MGM really is a leader in that. I mean, they have a whole solar panel farm, and it's just amazing what they've done in the upgrades.
Absolutely. They've got a solar array. We have run tours to the solar array in previous years. So I'm not 100% sure whether we're running that this year, but if people are interested, look out for that, because we've been doing that on Smart Monday. And my understanding is that MGM are building another solar array in the desert. So at the moment, MGM can fully power their hotels down the strip, their power needs during the day. Obviously, they want to be able to do that at night when all the lights come on as well. So that's what MGM are working towards. So we're excited to work with them on that. And they work very hard locally with diverting food waste as well. So they are really leaders in that. So it's great to work with them. But I would like to just give a shout out to all the big properties down the strip, because obviously we used to work closely with the Venetian on this. And I know Caesars as well work hard, and the Wynn. People think of Las Vegas as a place where, there's a lot of waste and it's maybe not very environmentally friendly. And the properties down the strip have really made a massive effort in the past decade to change that. And they really are, with the resources that they put in, they really have sort of cutting edge technologies and practices now. So we do sustainability tours, and I really, for people who are interested in that, really recommend they do those.
Taken the tour. It's fabulous. I recommend it highly. So the talking point last year and this year has been impact. How do you define that, and what will you be focusing on for 25?
Yeah. So this year we are talking about Impact 2.0, activating the future. So during the year, we've really focused on 3 areas. One is really around the science of social connection, and how in this day and age where tech is so prevalent, there's a lot of disconnection, how events, face-to-face events, really have this power to connect people and bring people together and help people's overall well-being and happiness. And we actually have a track at the show, a new track called Community Builders. And that track really is all about how you design events for connection. When you look at our education program, we also have an impact track. But what I would really encourage people to do is look quite holistically, because we pepper the education of different kinds of impact across all of those tracks. Then we also were focusing on how we de-risk the future to make it feel safer and more enjoyable. Also on the next gen, how they are defining our future. And we've been doing a research project with MPI. We haven't released the results yet, but we will do, all around what the next gen, what younger people really think of the industry, especially those that don't know us, and how they perceive careers in our industry and how we can attract people into the industry. So there's some really interesting results that's coming out of that. And then we've also just released our latest research report on leadership in extreme times. So that report is out. We had 8 leaders who contributed to that report, and there'll be some great culture. There's a culture and leadership track that's new as well at the show. And some of that will also be focused on bringing out some of the themes that came out within that report.
Very excited to hear about how to de-risk the future. And probably we're going to hear we need to stop complaining about how hard our jobs are, right? That's probably not encouraging young people
I think it's interesting. We know that we're in an industry that is stressful, but we're also in an industry that is fun and enjoyable and does amazing things. And so we have to balance those two, I think.
Absolutely. So the leadership leads us to my next question. You are a Smart Women in Meetings Hall of Fame Award winner. And this year's Smart Women Summit is all about legacy leadership. What is the legacy you hope to leave, Carina?
It's a big question, isn't it? I think probably a couple of things I would say on a sort of smaller local level in terms of the team and the people that work for us. I hope that I can leave a legacy where people can have a great career, with our business and grow personally and professionally and enjoy it as well. From a sort of more industry-wide basis, I hope that IMEX leaves a legacy of really helping people to connect meaningfully across borders and really drive their business forward, but also drive themselves forward again, professionally and personally. And then the other thing that we always aim to do is leave a positive legacy on the destinations where we work. So we work very deliberately with charities in Frankfurt, Las Vegas, and also in Brighton, where we're based, to really make sure that some of the profits that we make are driven back into those local communities, helping issues like homelessness, sex exploitation and trafficking, the environment as well. And, we also, work with charities that are working with refugees locally. So we do a lot of work in our communities, and I hope that leaves obviously a positive legacy. So that's a bit of a long answer probably, Jyoti, but hopefully, that gives a little bit of a spectrum.
I love that. And as all encompassing as you are. So it's very fitting. We will toast to that at our Cheers to Excellence toast Wednesday at 4 at our booth, the Wednesday of IMEX. And I look forward to seeing you there. We're going to have a photo op and some gifting and just get everyone together to encourage more excellence, right?
I look forward to it.
That's what we do. So thank you for sharing and for joining us today and inspiring the Meet Smart community. community. You are a true leader, Carina, and I hope you have a brilliant day.
Thank you.
All right, now let's hear from Tahira Endean. Welcome, Tahira.
Hi, JT. Always nice to see you.
It's always a pleasure. Hey, you are the master of designing joyful journeys. Talk about the different areas and experiences attendees can have this year at IMEX.
Well, there's just so much fun to be had. So, many people, everybody comes with a purpose. Everybody comes, they want to meet people and they want to connect. And that's exactly what happens at IMEX. So thinking about what you're going to pack, which is, most of the time I travel with a carry-on, but not for IMEX because there is too much to do. Too many outfit changes required.
Too many shoes.
And so many shoes, but we also know it's about the comfortable shoes now, right? So we can all arrive in our comfortable shoes that are still stylish naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to start, we know when you arrive, you're going to walk in and there's so many great activations take place. The first thing, of course, that happens is Smart Monday. So for people who choose to come in just really focused on education, Smart Monday is a great way to do that. There are specialty programs for association and corporate planners happening that day, plus a plethora of other education.
And then, you work with MPI on that, right?
Smart Monday is powered by MPI. Absolutely. And they've been doing a fantastic job for decades on it, since the beginning. And we have great keynote presenters that come across and just a really great start, very vibrant and many, many, many fun activations. Monday night, of course, there's awards and there's events and there's lots of things to do. Site night happens on Monday night. And then on Tuesday, we are now ready. It's showtime. And so as you arrive at the show, you're going to, again, go through a lot of activations. There's going to be music, art, sound, things to do, things to take pictures of, things to take pictures with. And that's before you even get to the doors. And once you get in, of course, IMEX is just the Disneyland for event planners. It's like really, it's the place that we go. There's 3,000 booths, exhibitors that are there prepared to meet us. And then tucked away, way on the far side is the Inspiration Hub. So that, of course, is my area of play. So where we have between Smart Monday and what happens on the Inspiration Hub, more than 150 sessions that take place. And so whether it is personal or professional development, you can do everything from learning about leadership and culture or contracts in food and beverage to doing midday somatic breathing. So there's lots of options to really both learn, connect, and take care of yourself. And that's even before you get to the meetings, which because people have selected their own meetings that they want to go to, you are finding you're either reconnecting with suppliers that love and have business with, or you are connecting with brand new and interesting people from around the world that can offer you something. I ran into a planner last year and her whole goal at the show last year was just to find the new places that they could take their clients. No better place to do that with 170 countries on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can meet everybody. And then, of course, the hallway conversations. So I don't know about you, JT, but I've had more good things happen in IMEX aisles than at almost anywhere else in my career. So, there's always...
Mm-hmm.
It's a place of just, you don't know what conversation you're going to have that's going to lead to an interesting new collaboration, connection. It's just the place to be, honestly.
Well, and I'm going to be doing a session in the Inspiration Hub. I'll be moderating a panel about how meeting in real life is so much more important now in the age of AI when you can't trust anything that you see online. And so that makes those hallway conversations, that makes being able to be in person with someone so much more powerful when you know that that's trust.
That is, at the end of the day, we are going to do business, especially at the scale that we are doing business in meetings and events with people we trust. And everybody's had an experience of seeing a beautiful picture of a destination online. And then you arrive and nobody told you about the construction or the whatever it is that, maybe the thing that's not even built yet that you were so excited about, and that used to be one thing. Now we have a whole new level of that. You're right, with AI. And so this idea that we can, meet in real life, look someone in the eye, decide if this is someone that we want to do business with when we're looking to place something that is as important as our meeting or event.
Exactly. The other thing that I love about IMEX is that you can have a wide range of experiences. So you've got your keynotes where there's thousands of people, right? It's 15,000 of our very best friends are going to be there, and most of them are going to be at that keynote, and we're all going to have that shared experience, which is pretty special. But then you also have on the show floor, you have the headsets, and you're able to have those more intimate conversations with panels or with industry people who actually do this every day and can share what's working for them. And then you have those campfires where you can all exchange information, and that whole variety of ways to get content is just so powerful.
I think it's really important. So we all learn differently. So with MPI, they really work with, they are the ones that we really partner with to bring the 3 keynotes. So the first one is on Smart Monday. Then there's one each, Tuesday and Wednesday before the show starts, 8:30 in the morning. What a lovely way to start your day, to just have a little dose of inspiration. And on the trade show floor, everybody has different needs when they arrive at the event. So I think one of the things that is really important is understanding we all arrive and we have different dietary concerns. We have different learning preferences. We have possibly, emails and proposals even to write and, ideas to return, all while you're trying to actually focus on the business of doing business at the trade show. So with the show, we have, yes, you can meet exhibitors from literally around the world. And all of those exhibitors also have activations. Everybody has something going on in their booth that is interesting, that's a reason to stop there and to be drawn in, and brings a unique flavor of their own culture. So it's really fun to go through the different, the trade show floor is divided by geography, basically, right? So you can be like, oh, I'd love to go see what's happening in Asia or South America or North America. I can meet my airlines. I can do all of these different things. And if I need to sit down and do an email or check on a proposal, there's work areas throughout the show floor so that you can do that. We can also meet many of our media partners and all of the associations. It is the global heartbeat of the industry. So everyone is there. Many of our associations are also offering education on their booths, as is Merit. So you'll find education sort of distributed throughout the show floor from partners, and sometimes destination specific. So they've got, presentations on the different places you can meet. And then on the Inspiration Hub, we have all of those different types of learnings. It's on a headset because honestly, it's noisy around us. But the joy of actually putting on a headset is as soon as that headset's on, you're not being distracted by anything around you. And you can take 25 minutes and just focus on what the sessions are. And one of the things we're doing differently this year is we used to always do education to match the meeting times, 30 minutes. But of course, that meant you always were arriving a little bit later, sneaking out a little bit early. So all the education now is either 25 minutes or 45 minutes, pretty much. A couple are even shorter, like 15 minutes. And when it's like sort of a really pop-up style type of presentation, but you can just sit down and focus on the learning that you have. And you know what? If you're in a campfire and you want to talk to somebody or have a small conversation, move them aside. It's not that noisy. So there's lots of different ways of connecting with the types of learning that are available. And we have a selection of panels as well as solo presentations. And the goal of everybody that we're bringing, it's an incredible challenge to look at all of the education that is offered to us. And for every show, really select what is important right now in our industry. For me, it's what's important right now for our industry in Europe is different than what's in America. So we've really leaned into, for America this year, our talking point is Impact 2.0, activating the future. And we've really focused on the community. Community is a new track for us, and leadership and culture, because that is entirely tied to community and how we build it. So there's a lot of sessions that really are to finding ways and speakers who are bringing us the tools to talk about how we connect, how we matter, how we take care of each other, and how we belong. So there's a lot of that. And then there's also a lot of the toolkit, contracts, food and beverages, why meeting in real life is important. And then additionally, we have been having a ton of fun programming our tech education stage this year. So many good things going on.
You talk about the tech education stage as you're looking at what's going to be happening there. I understand Dahlia is going to be working with you on that. Is this going to be the biggest tech area ever? What do you hope that people take away from that?
I was just at another industry event and was talking with someone I used to work with 10 years ago. And he's like, do you remember when there was just like a few technology companies in the corner of the show? And it's like, yeah, I do. That's when I worked in technology. Mm-hmm. And so, now I haven't seen the final numbers for this year. They're probably still growing. But last year, we had more than 65 technology companies. And we put a small technology stage. We were testing it last year, prototyping it. Was this going to be of interest to people? And it was packed the whole show. So this year, we were growing the tech education stage. It's close to the Inspiration Hub because technology exhibitors are close to the Inspiration Hub this year. Last year, they were quite far away, like the other side of the floor. This year, they're right next door. And the tech education stage is quite close. But we've been working with Dahlia to just look at, what are the different ways we can be programming? Again, thinking about the different ways people learn. And so there's no, if you want to see a technology demo, go to the exhibit booth. If you want to learn about what people are thinking behind the scenes in building technology, if you want to think about how people are using technology in new and interesting ways, about anything that's going to be not a sales pitch, basically. There's a space for that. In fact, there's more than 65 spaces for that. So on the stage is education, hearing from leaders across our industry in technology. And it's going to be good. So, all the education is going to go live at the end of August, because what I always hear from people is like, oh, I didn't have time. Before you book your appointments, before you book your meetings on the show floor, take a look, pick one or two education sessions you really care about, put those in your calendar and book your meetings around that so that you're not missing out on something that's really important to you.
And I'm guessing there's going to be plenty of AI in that tech area.
Of course. I mean, we can't really the thing is AI is, so from my perspective, AI has been around for more than a decade. One of the first years that we did technology awards at the show, chatbots and AI-based tools were winning those awards. Here we are 10 years later, AI just launched at scale. And so we are all playing with learning how embedding it into our everyday workflows. So absolutely, AI is going to be there, and it will be focused on the tech stage. You'll find it also in with our booth partners. PCMA is there with Spark and Snapsight. We have Snapsight as a tool for much of our education. So, which means that basically after any session, you can just open that session up, and there'll be 3 key takeaways and a short summary of the session that's available for anybody, whether you go to the session or not, which is incredible. So, it's amazing to see that. So, and of course, how you can use it. There'll be, lots of demos available for that as well. So it's such a great, it just underlays everything we do. So we need to continue to learn how to use it better.
Can I ask about Encore Immersion?
Yeah, absolutely. So Encore is back as a huge partner. They have a really fun, we've been working with them now for a few years, and they have a really fun showcase this year that's really bringing in an interesting showcase of the technologies and also really creating a sense of place. So it's going to be stopped by the Encore. It's going to also be right beside the Inspiration Hub.
Nice. One of the things that makes IMEX so powerful is the sense of discovery. As you're wandering the floor, there's so many different things that you can learn and experience and do. I know at our booth every year we have people get their photo on the cover of the magazine, and on that Wednesday we do a toast to all of the winners of all of our different programs, and we have a photo op, and it's just a place to both reunite with people but also discover people, and that's powerful.
It's incredible. It's just our industry continues to evolve, and so we have so many, this more better than anybody. We have so many superstars in our industry, people who are so committed to creating the best human experiences literally on the planet, and who have spent sometimes decades doing just that. And that's pretty magic. And all of the people, of course, that have to support those experiences. But we also have a whole range of up-and-comers. And we're just continuing to try to, bring those two things together. So we've got a few sessions this year that are also really focused on the rising talent in our industry. So we're looking at it from an educational perspective with, what's the gap between event and meeting education and industry and how to close some of those gaps, as well as a mentor roundtables again on Thursday morning. So where we'll have 10 mentors who are available to meet with anybody who wants to come and meet with them.
Nice.
On Thursday. Yeah, we did that last year. Super, super fun, super successful. It is a place where, not only can you discover all kinds of new destinations and ideas and products and services and just be sparked as to what's happening. So it's really incredible to just go in with your eyes open. I think that's really important.
And if there's too much, is there still a quiet area people can go?
Well, the thing about IMEX is there's always too much. So let's be real, right? So not when, it will be too much, and I have been to all the Americas and a few Frankfurts, although I've only worked at IMEX for 3 years, been going for years. And I would always, sneak out to the wellness room, usually Wednesday afternoon, and lay down and just do some yoga. And it was amazing. And so this year we have quite a few things. So there's, on the floor, there's nooks and Zen pods that, quiet pods that people can sneak into. And then there is the workspaces, as I talked about, where people, if they really just need to go and put on their headphones and do a work thing, you can do that. And then again, from a noise perspective, just outside of the show floor it's called Bayside E, but basically not the main entrance, but the secondary entrance, more near where the buses come in, will be a resilience room again. So Hello DMC is once again partnering with us to bring that. And that is really a space for people who are more neurodivergent and who are really introverted and just really need that time to just sit quietly. This is not the place to go look at your phone. This is the place to go, basically just put a pillow over your head and take some truly quiet time and come back recharged. Right beside that, David T. Stevens and Olympian Meetings, so his company, are bringing Circadian Cove. So that will be programmed from in the morning before the show. If anybody remembers the hideous push-up challenge that I did, the fabulous push-up challenge where I had the opportunity to do 210 push-ups with David and Anka, who let me help you out here, are a lot fitter than I am.
They're a lot fitter than anyone I've ever met.
Right. And 8 other brave souls. We did the push-up challenge. So they'll bring some physical activity, but they've based Circadian Cove. It's called that because it's based around the circadian rhythms of the day that a human experiences. And they've got things programmed throughout the day that match really how humans are during the day. So some more active fitness in the morning, some breathing in the afternoon, and just some time and space to really connect people.
I love that. We did a white paper with David on that topic, and it is so important to think about that when designing.
Well, and now it's going to come to life over 3 days. So think about that. You've got a paper with him, but now you're going to actually, you and the rest of the industry are going to be able to see that.
And experience it.
And go and I would 100% again encourage, wear your comfortable shoes, bring your water bottle, fill it. There's water stations everywhere, and take time. Again, when you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't do one more thing. Don't do one more thing. Step off the floor and go to one of those spaces and just chill. 10 minutes can make an incredible difference. So yeah, do all of that.
Listen to your body. Yep.
Yes. And your mind. It gets tired. It's okay. It's a marathon.
So much good stuff. What is the one thing that you would suggest for a planner who's coming that wants to just get the most out of their time at IMEX America?
Plan the things that matter and then leave yourself space for serendipity. So don't plan every moment. We don't ask you to do 14 meetings a day. So, it's much less than that. So plan your time, choose the people that you want to meet with, choose the education you want to see, and give yourself space for the hallway conversations, hopping into the resilience room or the Circadian Cove, and just to be able to just stop and, take a breath and just chat with somebody that you meet. When you see somebody that you're excited to talk with, that you can spend a few extra minutes to talk with them, whether that's somebody that is an old friend or a new friend. It is a place of relationships, and take time to play. There's we have lots of other opportunities to play. In fact, you can look for the session that says playtime and pop in for that.
That is great advice. Well, I can tell you top of my list is a priority of finding and hugging Tahira, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Give us a little bit of taste of what we can expect, and we will see you in Las Vegas.
See you in Vegas, baby!
Smart Meetings, What One Thing was produced by Bright Business Media. Visit smartmeetings.com to subscribe to your daily dose of inspiration.